Listen to me. Sometimes we think that holding on makes us strong, that the tighter we grip the past, the safer we'll be. We convince ourselves that if we just keep every wound in clear view, we'll never get blindsided again. We hold on to anger like it's armor. We cling to regret like it's some kind of guide. We replay old betrayals in our minds as if they're warnings written in stone. But let me tell you what that's really costing you. See, every ounce of energy you spend holding on to what hurt you is energy you're stealing from what could heal you, from what could grow you, from what could change your entire life. Some of you are walking around with a backpack full of bricks you picked up years ago. Somebody left you, somebody lied to you, somebody doubted you, somebody told you that you weren't good enough. And ever since then, you've been dragging those bricks everywhere you go. You carry them into new relationships. You carry them into new jobs. You carry them into conversations with people who never even hurt you. And you wonder why you're so tired. It's not life that's exhausting you. It's the weight you refuse to set down. I've seen people live decades locked inside a single bad moment, one betrayal, one mistake, one season of pain, and they build an entire identity around it. They'll say, "This is just who I am now. I don't trust people. I don't get close. I don't expect too much. I keep my guard up." But who told you that's who you have to be? Holding on becomes a prison. It keeps you stuck in a loop where the past keeps deciding your future. You might be standing in new places, but inside, you're reliving old stories. You can't see the sunrise because your eyes are still fixed on a sunset that happened years ago. And the real tragedy is that you start missing the life happening right in front of you, the laughter you don't hear, the opportunities you don't see, the love you push away because you're afraid it'll turn out like the last time. There's a cost for holding on, and sometimes it's not just emotional, it's physical, stress, anxiety, tension in your body, sleepless nights. Your body keeps the score of everything your mind refuses to release. You think you're hiding it, but your health knows the truth. Your spirit knows the truth, and let's talk about dreams for a minute. Some of you have dreams sitting in the corner gathering dust because you're holding on to the belief that you're not capable, that you're too old, that it's too late, that people like you don't get to have those kinds of things. That's the cost of holding on. It's the cost of believing the lies you were told or the lies you told yourself. There's another cost too, the people who love you, because when you hold on to pain, it spills over. People who care about you try to get close, but you keep them at arm's length, not because they've done anything wrong, but because you're afraid they might. You start living in protection mode. Everything becomes a calculation. How much should I share? How much should I feel? How much should I risk? So you keep conversations surface level. You laugh, but not too hard. You love, but not too deep. You live, but not too fully. You become a version of yourself that's careful, guarded, and half alive. And let me tell you, life's too short for that. I've met people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who look back and realize they spent decades holding on to anger towards somebody who's not even alive anymore. Or holding on to shame over something they did when they were 25. They'll tell you with tears in their eyes that it wasn't worth it. That all it brought them was lost time, lost peace, lost connection, and I don't want that for you. Because the longer you hold on, the more the past owns you. It steals your moments. It steals your laughter. It steals the color out of your days. I'm telling you, the cost of holding on is your life, not just your past. Not just your hurt, your life, the one that's happening right here, right now. So I'm asking you, how much longer are you going to pay that price? How many more sunrises will you miss because your mind's trapped in yesterday's darkness? How many more smiles will you swallow because you're afraid to be vulnerable? How many more opportunities will pass you by because you're too busy fighting ghosts? Holding on feels safe. But in reality, it's keeping you small, keeping you hidden, keeping you from becoming everything you're meant to be. And that's a price too high for anyone to pay. Listen to me, because this part is important. We talk a lot about letting go. People throw around that phrase like it's easy. Just let it go. Just move on. Like you can snap your fingers and erase the weight of years, the scars on your heart, the disappointments that rewired how you see yourself and the world. But let me tell you the truth, letting go is not easy. Letting go takes courage that most people never even tap into. It takes courage to stand in the middle of your life and admit that something you've been carrying no longer serves you. It takes courage to release the anger that's been your shield, the pain that's been your story, the bitterness that's been your excuse. Sometimes the pain becomes familiar, and there's a strange comfort in the familiar, even when it's hurting you. It becomes a part of your identity. You tell yourself, this is who I am now. You start living like the person who was betrayed, who was left behind, who failed, who was overlooked. And the idea of letting that go feels like stepping off a cliff, because if you let go of the pain, then who are you? If you let go of the bitterness, then what's left to protect you? If you let go of the story that's defined you, then what story do you tell next? That's why letting go takes courage, because it forces you into the unknown. It demands that you face your reflection without all the things you've been using to cover your wounds. It asks you to believe that there's more for you than the life you've been living, and sometimes that belief feels impossible. People think courage means being fearless. No, courage means you're scared as hell and you do it anyway. Courage means waking up every day and choosing not to let yesterday own today. It means choosing to unclench your fists, open your heart, and let some things go even when you don't know what will replace them. It's saying, I'm tired of living angry. I'm tired of living small. I'm tired of letting what happened to me keep deciding who I'm allowed to become. Letting go takes courage because sometimes you've invested so much of yourself in what you're holding on to. The grudge, the resentment, the relationship that's already dead but you keep trying to revive it, the belief that you're unworthy, that you're damaged goods, that you'll never rise. Sometimes the thing you need to release is a version of yourself, the version who settled, the version who stayed silent, the version who kept shrinking so other people could feel comfortable, and that's terrifying because we're creatures of habit. We like knowing who we are, even when we hate who we are. It takes courage to look at your own reflection and say, I refuse to be this person one more day. Letting go isn't passive. It's not sitting around waiting for the hurt to fade. It's an active choice, a deliberate decision. Sometimes you have to say it out loud. I release this, I release them, I release what I cannot change. And you might have to say it 1,000 times. You might have to wake up every morning and remind yourself that you are more than what you lost, more than who hurt you. More than the worst thing you ever did or the worst thing that was ever done to you. Courage is choosing freedom over familiarity. It's choosing possibility over certainty. It's choosing growth over staying stuck in a story that's killing your spirit. I've seen people walk away from careers they spent 20 years building because they realized it was stealing their joy. I've seen people cut ties with toxic family members because they finally understood that blood isn't a free pass for abuse. I've seen people forgive the unforgivable, not because what happened was okay, but because they refused to let it poison their future. That's courage, and the thing about courage is it doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's a single deep breath, a single choice not to send that angry text, a single decision to close the door on an argument that's been raging for years. It's deciding you deserve peace, you deserve happiness, you deserve a life that's bigger than your wounds. Because here's what I know. The life you want is waiting on the other side of letting go. The love you crave, the peace you dream about, the opportunities you can't even imagine yet, all of it is waiting. But you have to be brave enough to make room for it. You have to be willing to release your grip on what's behind you so you can reach for what's ahead. And that takes real courage. Listen to me. We talk a lot about freedom, but most people don't even realize what it means. Because real freedom isn't just about doing whatever you want. It's about stepping into the unknown and daring to believe you'll find wings on the way down. See, there's a part of you that's hungry for something more. You can feel it late at night when the world goes quiet. You hear it whispering when you're sitting at your desk staring out the window, wondering if this is all there is. There's a part of you that wants to explore, to grow, to live with a wildness you've only tasted in glimpses. But most people never answer that call. You know why? Because the unknown terrifies them. We are creatures who crave certainty. We like knowing what's next. We like routines, schedules, and the safety of familiar walls. We'd rather stay in a cage we've memorized than step outside into a world where anything can happen. But here's what you've got to understand. Anything can happen out there, and that's the point, because that anything includes miracles. It includes joy you've never experienced, connections you've never made, passions you've never discovered. Strength you didn't know you had. The unknown is where you find out what you're really made of. Some people spend their entire lives trying to avoid uncertainty. They stay in relationships that have been dead for years because it's familiar. They stay in jobs that drain the life out of them because the paycheck comes every 2 weeks. They silence their dreams because chasing them might mean failure, embarrassment, or starting over. So they build a life of predictability, same streets, same conversations, same small circle, same excuses. And let me tell you what happens next. Their spirit starts to wither because your soul wasn't built for a cage, even a comfortable one. Your soul was built to explore, to try, to risk, to discover new sides of who you are. Freedom doesn't live in certainty. It lives in the unknown. It lives in the places you haven't been yet, the people you haven't met yet. The things you haven't dared to attempt because you told yourself, that's not for people like me, but who said so? Who told you that you can't move to another city and start fresh? Who told you that you're too old to learn a new skill, fall in love again, change careers, travel the world? Who told you that you have to keep living the same story just because you've been in it for a long time? The unknown is where you write new chapters. It's where you leave the old labels behind. It's where you find out you're stronger, braver, and wiser than you ever gave yourself credit for. But yes, it's scary. I'm not here to lie to you. It's terrifying to leave what's familiar. It's terrifying to let go of the old blueprint for your life and step into a blank page. That's why most people won't do it. But I'm here to tell you, if you want freedom, you've got to walk into the places that scare you. You've got to stand on the edge of what you know and decide to take one more step, because on the other side of that step is possibility. Think about every great thing that ever happened in your life, the best friendships, the biggest opportunities, the moments that made you feel alive. I guarantee you they all started in the unknown. You didn't know how it would turn out. You didn't know if you'd succeed, but you took the step anyway. That's freedom. Freedom is waking up and realizing you're not obligated to stay the same, that you're allowed to reinvent yourself, that you're allowed to say, this chapter is over, I'm writing a new one. Freedom is understanding that failure is not fatal. It's data, it's feedback. It's proof that you were brave enough to try. There are gifts waiting for you in the unknown that you can't even imagine right now. People who will change your life, passions that will light you up, strengths that will surprise you. But you'll never find them if you stay where it's safe. The known might be comfortable, but it's not freedom. Freedom lives where you've never been. It lives in that leap of faith. It lives in the decision to bet on yourself when nobody else sees the vision. So I'm asking you, when was the last time you did something that scared you? When was the last time you chose adventure over comfort? When was the last time you trusted that the unknown could hold something good for you? Because that's where life is. It's waiting for you just beyond the horizon of everything you think you know. There's a difference between living and merely existing. And too many people are just existing. They're breathing, yes. They're moving through the world, yes. But deep down, they're numb, going through the motions, counting days instead of making days count. They wake up in the morning, and the first thought in their mind is dread. They go to work, they come home, they scroll through their phone until they fall asleep, and then they do it all over again. Week after week, year after year, and if you ask them how they're doing, they'll say, "I'm fine," but fine is not living. Fine is surviving, fine is settling, fine is drifting through life without ever tasting the richness of what it means to be truly alive. I'm telling you, you weren't put on this earth just to pay bills and wait to die. You were born to live, to feel the sun on your skin, to laugh so hard your sides ache, to love with your whole heart even if it's been broken before. To learn, to grow, to fall, to rise again. Existing is easy. All you have to do is follow the script. Get up, show up, keep your head down, and don't ask too many questions. But living, that takes intention. Living takes choosing to be present in your own life. It takes opening your eyes to the beauty that's all around you, even on the hard days. It means you don't just let the days wash over you like waves. You dive in and swim. I've seen people wait their whole lives for the right time to live. They tell themselves, "I'll be happy when I lose the weight, when I get the promotion, when I meet the right person, when the kids are grown, when I retire." But let me tell you something, the right time is now. Because while you're waiting for perfect conditions, life is happening. The seasons are changing. The people you love are getting older. The chances you have today might not be there tomorrow. Some people keep their hearts locked up because they're afraid of getting hurt, so they never love fully. They never say what they really feel. They keep relationships at surface level. Some people refuse to try new things because they're afraid to look foolish. So they never discover new talents. They never taste new adventures. They never find out how strong or capable they really are. Some people bury themselves in work because it's safer than facing the emptiness inside. They tell themselves they're too busy to live. Too busy to rest, too busy to dream. Existing might feel safer, but it's costing you your life, because let me tell you something, living fully isn't about having everything figured out. It's not about having a perfect life with no problems. It's about showing up for your own story. It's about choosing to keep your heart open, even when it's been bruised. It's about laughing loudly, crying freely, speaking your truth, and letting yourself be seen for who you really are. It's about paying attention to small things, the smell of coffee in the morning, the sound of rain on your window, the way your favorite song makes you want to dance. Living fully means loving the people around you while you have them, saying the words you'd regret not saying, making memories instead of waiting for someday. It means forgiving even if the other person doesn't apologize. Because carrying bitterness is not living, it's slow poison. It means choosing joy, not because life is perfect, but because you're determined to find light even in the shadows. And it means allowing yourself to grow, to change, to outgrow the old versions of yourself without apology. To stop playing small just to fit into spaces that were never built for you. You were not born to shrink. You were born to expand. Every single day you're given a gift. 24 hours, that's 440 minutes. That's 86,400 seconds, and the question is, what are you doing with them? Are you investing them in things that make your soul come alive? Or are you spending them stuck in routine, waiting for someday? Someday is a thief. It steals today right out of your hands. People think living fully means traveling the world or making millions of dollars. No, living fully is about being awake in your own life. It's about showing up where you are with what you have and making it meaningful. It's about refusing to drift through your days half-ass sleep. Refusing to settle for fine. Refusing to accept that this is all there is because there's more. There's always more. And the only way you'll find it is if you choose every day to truly live. So hear me now. Life is too precious to waste chained to the past. Too fleeting to spend stuck in fear. Too sacred to live merely existing instead of truly living. Yes, the cost of holding on is high. It robs you of joy, of peace, of your very days, but the courage to release, that's where your power lies. Because when you let go, you make space for something new. And though freedom lives in the unknown, and it can feel terrifying to step into what you can't see, that's where your miracles are waiting. That's where your purpose is waiting. That's where the best version of you is waiting. Don't settle for a life half-lived. Don't spend your days drifting in circles. Force yourself, even when it's hard, to let go of the weight that's holding you down. Because you've got one shot at this life, one, so take the leap. Speak your truth, love deeply, risk failure. Chase wonder, don't just survive your days, live them, and remember, the life you want, the freedom you crave, the person you're meant to become, it's all on the other side of letting go. Go get it!